You probably never gave it much thought. But everything, absolutely everything, you wear, eat or use, has sailed through waters that now silently belong to an empire. Not an empire of tanks. Not an empire of warplanes. An empire of steel, engines, and containers. China doesn't dominate the world with bombs. It dominates with logistics. It doesn't invade territories. It buys the ports and turns trade routes into silent weapons. This video will show you how one nation turned shipyards into fortresses, and why the next global empire won't be built with missiles, but with ships. In the 1980s, while Japan shined with cutting-edge tech and South Korea surged in shipbuilding, China was on the ground, poor, underdeveloped, ignored, while the West was partying in the age of consumption and bamboo scaffolding around newly built factories, trains hauling tons of steel, thousands of uniformed workers marching through shipyards like an industrial army. Speculation, fueled by billions in state subsidies, an almost endless labor force, and a government machine that never rested. China began building the largest silent. They didn't want to compete. They wanted to win. While the world laughed at their poverty, China was preparing to dominate the seas. Conquest of the 21st century. China was planting steel, sweat, and silence. In the early 2000s, something changed. China, once an outsider in global shipbuilding, decided to flip the board. But not with speeches. With strategy. And money. A lot of money. They played 3 moves. 3 pieces on a global chessboard. And each one hit the West where it hurt the most. While Western capitalism pushed for austerity and budget cuts, China did the opposite. Massive investment and total state support. Shipyards received billions in government subsidies. 0 risk. 1 command: build, expand, dominate. They would rely on no one. Every bolt, every steel plate, every chip on their ships, made in China. From raw extraction to final assembly, the supply chain was sovereign. No delays. No dependencies. Just industrial dominance. With brutally low costs and full state backing, China crushed the competition. Historic shipyards in Japan and Europe started to vanish. What once took years to build, China did in months, cheaper, faster, at industrial scale. The global shipbuilding industry was sinking, and Beijing was just getting started. Today this isn't a competition. It's a takeover. China now builds over 50% of all ships in the world. Let me repeat that, more than half. And that includes everything. 400-meter container ships slicing across oceans. Passenger ships leaving massive docks. Military frigates in formation. Submarines diving into murky South China Sea waters. China's global shipbuilding share, 50% plus. Shanghai Shipyard, 3 mega ships assembled simultaneously. Annual deliveries, breaking records year after year since 2018. The biggest shipyard in the world? Not in London. Not in Tokyo. It's in Shanghai. And it's so massive, it looks like a floating city. Capable of building 3 ocean giants at the same time. As you watch this video, China is already assembling the next one. They didn't need weapons. They used steel. You probably never think twice about the ships crossing the oceans. But over 90% of everything you own, eat, or use has been shipped across the seas. And what if I told you that the future of global power isn't decided by armies, but by steel giants silently moving across the oceans? China doesn't control the world with cannons, but with containers. In the 1980s, China was still crawling. A sleeping dragon surrounded by giants. Japan and South Korea dominated shipbuilding. China barely made its own naval fleet. But hidden beneath the poverty and dust was a plan. A vision that would stretch across decades. By the early 2000s, the mask was off. China no longer aimed to participate. It aimed to dominate. And it launched a 3-pronged attack on the global shipbuilding order. From raw steel to advanced electronics, China built everything at home. Dependency was eliminated. Efficiency was weaponized. Chinese shipyards offered prices that undercut Japanese and European builders by 30 to 40%. Western companies couldn't compete. Yard after yard shut down. Today, China produces over 50% of the world's commercial ships. Half of everything that moves across oceans is made by Chinese hands. Ship container ships, ferry passenger liners, anchor naval destroyers, canoe, even nuclear submarines. China's naval dominance isn't about guns. It's about logistics, supply, infrastructure. Every route, every ocean lane, every docked port whispers the same message: made in China. And the West? Struggling to rebuild industries it let rot. Looking back at a world it once led, and wondering how it lost control without a single missile fired. The world thought power would come in the form of aircraft carriers and fighter jets. But China had a different vision. While others chased headlines, it built hulls. He who controls the ships, controls the world. In the vast expanse of global commerce, an unassuming force has been steadily reshaping the maritime landscape. Beyond the horizon of everyday awareness, a nation has risen to command the very arteries of international trade. This is the story of China's silent yet monumental ascent in shipbuilding, a narrative of ambition, strategy, and profound global implications. For centuries, the seas have been the lifeblood of civilizations, facilitating exploration, conquest, and commerce. The art of shipbuilding has mirrored humanity's technological and cultural evolution. Yet, in the modern era, this age-old craft has undergone a seismic shift, with one nation emerging as the unrivaled architect of the world's fleet stretching over 14,000 kilometers. China's coastline is adorned with shipyards that have become the epicenters of maritime manufacturing. Cities like Shanghai, Dalian, and Guangzhou have transformed into global shipbuilding powerhouses, their docks berthing vessels that traverse every ocean and port of call. The scale at which Chinese shipyards operate is unparalleled. They possess the capability to construct a diverse array of vessels, from colossal container ships to sophisticated naval warships, often simultaneously within the same facility. This dominance didn't materialize overnight. It's the culmination of decades of strategic planning, substantial investment, and an unwavering commitment to becoming the world's leading maritime manufacturer. To comprehend the magnitude of China's maritime ascendancy, we must embark on a journey through time, tracing the deliberate steps that propelled a nation from modest beginnings to commanding the helm of global shipbuilding. In the aftermath of internal upheavals and external challenges, China's shipbuilding industry in the mid-20th century was nascent, characterized by rudimentary facilities and limited technological prowess. The nation's maritime ambitions were constrained, with domestic needs barely being met. The late 1970s marked a pivotal turning point. Under the aegis of economic reforms and an open-door policy, China began to court foreign investment and technology. Shipyards became crucibles of modernization, absorbing global best practices and integrating them into indigenous frameworks. Former policy maker. We recognized that to invigorate our maritime capabilities, we needed to embrace globalization, inviting expertise, fostering joint ventures, and investing heavily in infrastructure. Industry veteran. The collaboration with international partners was instrumental. It wasn't merely about technology transfer, it was about cultivating a culture of excellence and innovation within our shipyards. The dawn of the 21st century witnessed an unprecedented surge. Chinese shipyards, now equipped with advanced technology and a skilled workforce, began to capture a significant share of the global market. The world's shipping magnates turned to China, drawn by competitive pricing, efficiency, and the promise of quality. Today, vessels bearing the mark, "Made in China," are ubiquitous, traversing the Suez Canal, docking at Rotterdam, unloading at Long Beach. China's shipbuilding prowess has not only redefined the industry but has also recalibrated the dynamics of global trade. As China's star ascended, traditional shipbuilding powerhouses grappled with decline. The shipyards of Europe, once bustling with activity, faced closures. In the United States, production dwindled. The epicenter of maritime manufacturing had undeniably shifted eastward. As China's star ascended, traditional shipbuilding powerhouses grappled with decline. The shipyards of Europe, once bustling with activity, faced closures. In the United States, production dwindled. The epicenter of maritime manufacturing had undeniably shifted eastward. However, this ascendancy is not without its complexities. It intertwines with geopolitical currents, economic dependencies, and the strategic calculus of nations. As we set sail into the depths of this narrative, we will explore the multifaceted dimensions of China's shipbuilding dominance, its economic underpinnings, technological innovations, military ramifications, and the ripples it sends across the global geopolitical seascape. As we set sail into the depths of this narrative, we will explore the multifaceted dimensions of China's shipbuilding dominance, its economic underpinnings, technological innovations, military ramifications, and the ripples it sends across the global geopolitical seascape.